What's up, Fishroom fanatics? So check it out, quick tour, again, a little bit of an update. I'm not going to get into super deep detail. There are a couple tanks that I want to go over specifically in some other videos, but just a quick updated tour of what's been going on. As you can see, the discus is out in full force. He's hoppy, he's always hoppy. The other one's buried in the back somewhere, he likes to hide. But this one's always super happy, he's always out and friendly. Boom, light, boom, 55. And as you can see, the endlers have been moved. So there's no more like nasty tank. And the problem is, there's so many of them, I couldn't get them all out. There's still so many other tanks. So I have to figure out a way to get the rest of them out. And I gotta let the tanks kind of settle down, so I pulled everything out. But as you can see, there's well over 100 of them in here. And we started off with 4 of these guys. We had 2 males, 2 females, and now there are over 100. Yeah, still need to finish planting the tank. There's some swords in here and what have you. It's not completely done yet. It was kind of a rush job because I noticed that they were struggling, and some of them were struggling in one of the other tanks, and they had 2 batches of fry in there, and none of the fry made it. So immediately I wanted to get them out. This tank's been cycling for a while now, and I just had to get the light put up, so I did that, and now they're moved. So yeah, you can finally see how many of these guys we have, and some of them are really pretty. Really pretty. And you'll have to forgive me, I'm still kind of sick, so I've been trying to not record as much at a time, and that's part of the reason why we were having problems with the endler tanks, is because I haven't been able to get down here as much as I wanted to. It's not really a valid excuse because these are still lives too, but I felt absolutely horrible. So the instant that I could, I got down here. I'm feeling a lot better now. Still just kind of recovering, but you can see the result. We got 2 sponge filters in here, 55. There's a 4-foot light above it. It's an LED. And normally I would have hung it, but I didn't have any hooks left, so I just mounted it to the ceiling and called it good. But they're doing really well in here, so that should be good now. You've seen the 72. We got the 55 over here, and there's a ton of moss on it, and algae. There is, believe it or not, an endler female in here, and Jess and I had argued for quite some time as to what it actually was, and turns out, of course, as usual, she was right. There it is. Where'd you go? There you are. So a female ended up in here. I'm not sure how that happened, but it did. So I gotta move her still. All of the koi swordtails are still doing really well. We haven't had any more babies with these guys lately, which is fine. They're also in a more populated tank with other fish they're not used to, so that's part of the reason they're not spawning. I'm okay with that for now. We're gonna crack back down on them again. The 40 gallon with the multis is doing pretty well. All of the algae that was like covering the sand is gone. Still no fry out of these guys yet. That's okay. They will eventually spawn. I'm not too concerned with it at the moment because dealing with all the other tanks and being sick and everything else, it's kind of a blessing. Plus we had the killifish fry upstairs, and the endlers haven't stopped breeding, so dealing with that. The cherry shrimp are in here. They're doing really well. A lot of these we got from Shrimp Farm when we went to Aquatic Experience. You can see some of them are super red, which is beautiful. Still working on getting them all completely set up, but they're doing really well in here. They're breeding really well. Let's see, what we got over here? One of the female convicts is buried in this algaic mess. She's completely recovered at this point. Her tail was nipped off by the male that was in the tank with her. So we separated her out, put her in here, and she's doing extremely well. Tail's completely recovered, but I can tell you that we're going to go ahead and move her at some point and then get this tank cleaned out a lot. The lights are gonna have to get raised. They're creating a lot of algae, which isn't a bad thing, but at the same time, it's not good either. I mean, this is a fish room, it's not a display room, but I'm all for algae, but that's a lot of algae, so I'm gonna have to deal with that eventually. But yeah, you can see that they kind of need to be cleaned out at this point, and there's a lot of hair algae on the rocks and stuff too, but that's okay. Beta is going to be moved soon. Out of this 20, we are going to be putting some shrimp in here, and the reason we were getting the endlers out of the other 20 is we're going to put some shrimp in there as well, because We'll come over here. Boom, boom, boom. The blue dreams slash blue pearls slash whatever else you want to call them, because there's a mix of them in here. The line's not completely pure. We're going to try to purify it better. So we're going to be moving a lot of the blue dreams out. Excuse me. We're going to be moving a lot of the blue dreams out and getting them into the other tanks. As you can see, we have, there's so many of them in here, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's not even funny anymore. It was all cute and fun at first, and now we're at the point where it's like, okay, we need to move some out of here before they overpopulate, because that's what's gonna happen. They're everywhere. And it's not a bad thing. I don't want to make it sound like that's horrible, but at the same time, please focus. You're being a pain. That's okay though. At the same time, you don't want to have too many in one tank, because that's how tanks crash, and then you end up losing everything, and that's definitely something we don't want to have happen. So we're working on that. Kahaku's over here by themselves. It's a male and a female. She's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Hopefully she'll drop fry soon. This tank is going to be emptied out completely and cleaned out. That was where the endlers were. And a quick glance over here. I am going to cover these guys in extensive detail, or not extensive, but more detail I should say, soon. But you can see these are the green laser plecos, or corridoras rather. I'm sorry, not plecos. They're at about a month old at this point, and you can see them without me zooming in anymore. They have done fantabulously well. Yes, that is a word, fantabulously. You don't believe me? Look it up. Anyways, yeah, they're doing really well. We've got over 30 of them in here, so I haven't had a chance to count because they move around a lot, even when they're feeding. They're doing really well. They're growing really fast. So really happy about that. And of course, we still have the Bloody Marys down here, which you're probably not going to see, because even though they're everywhere in the tank, oh yeah, there's some. Even though they're everywhere in here, they hide. They don't like to be bothered. So yeah, there's probably about 100 of them in here too. So this one's gonna have to get cleaned out at some point and spread. Oh yeah, a lot of fun. The koi angels are still doing really well. The bristlenose are in there doing really well. This tank has an air hose ran to it now. I just gotta hook it up, and then it needs a water change and a quick clean, and it's done. So this one's ready to go. So we'll have 3 empty tanks, and we do plan on going to a swap next weekend. So we'll have even more room rather for what we need. There's more of the koi swordtails in here. So again, no babies out of this one, even though this one's got the biggest female. She hasn't dropped any fry in a while, which is okay with me. Again, trying to sort everything out and get everything situated has been a bit harder because of being sick, so I'm okay with that. This is where the endlers were. And you can see there's a snail infestation in here as well, but there's still probably like maybe 3 or 4 of them in here I couldn't catch. There's one there. So eventually those guys will get moved out into the other tank. The other convicts are down here, again, blooming algae. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to fix that. Just so it doesn't overpopulate algae like as fast as it has been, 'cause it's driving me absolutely bonkers. And all of our duckweed. We got duckweed pretty much everywhere now. It's always fun. Last but not least, and I know I missed a convict tank, but they're just the fry in there and 1 male cichlid, so you've already seen that. These are the babies. So they're doing really well, they're growing really well. There's, I think, like 15 of them in here. You can see he's got actual stripes now coloring, so there's a bunch of them in here. They're just a little bit harder to see right now because they're all kind of hiding, but you can see back there, there's a couple of them. Every time I come down here, they hide behind the filter. Bunch of jerks. But there's one. Showtime. Always out front. Enjoys the camera. No complaints from me. And there's another one. So there's plenty of them in here. They're all coming out now because I'm staying still. I'm not moving around as much. Sorry about the camera shaking, guys. There we go. So there's a bunch of them in here. And as you sit still, they all kind of come out. So we do still have the white clouds. They are still here. They're all doing really good. Tank to themselves. No issues there. But like I said, this is going to be pretty quick. I don't want to get into too much detail. Normally my tours down here are like 20-25 minutes, but I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, as always, please drop them in the box below. If you haven't already, do us a favor, hit that like, subscribe, and share button. Let's get some more people into the fish keeping hobby. The more the merrier. And as always, folks, happy fish keeping.